The truth is that at this time of century and its communication technologies, all around the world we are becoming increasingly aware of being immersed in sort of a time vortex where events are bumping on each other, cascading at a speed never before experienced in history, nor seen in the evolution of human species. Conditions have never been the same in that now we humans are facing contingencies and issues that transcend all cultural, religious, ethnic, and political differences because these contingencies, information and technologies there included, are now and will increasingly become of a global range and are therefore common to all of us, like pandemics, like climate change. With the nuclear bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, we humans have entered a thoroughly new cognitive realm in the evolution of the species and jumped into an existential and volitive level in which all these differences no longer apply. This does not mean that they have ceased to exist or act, but once the threshold is crossed, their significance for the future of mankind is entirely different, as henceforth we know that it depends on its diversity, which constitutes the richness of the species. So that no need of looking any farther. We already know that nuclear energy is today the deepest root of human problems, which have become geopolitical since the Cold War it engendered, because from the beginning the aim was to reserve that kind of energy to the fewest possible number of humans, and to exclude from its use the rest of humanity. To make it a weapon, in short. But so powerful a weapon, this time, that it would guarantee global hegemony. Now, since this war technology is itself placed at the frontiers of science, hegemony had to exert its power also in the realm of knowledge and decide what share of it would be accessible, or rather grantable, to the peoples of the earth. This is the precise moment when Western science traded off the quest for knowledge against the quest for power, mutating into hidden knowledge and perverting astray into black magic. Thus, the weapon obtained proved being for mankind the weapon of the end times. And now, in the midst of the time vortex, its activation codes are falling into the hands of megalomaniac characters and suicidal bigots who seem emerged from the grotesque of comic culture, believing in their hearts that we humans are all doomed with them, but the sole fact of it depending on their will justifies as a victory, even throwing us all in the final abyss. Such is the awful reality of our days. We are all doomed. Just unless we humans have the hitherto unknown transmitting faculty necessary for acting as a human collective, and unless updating the old concept of class consciousness proposed by Marx to save society, we manage to develop a species consciousness just in time to avoid the final disaster and save the species and the biosphere. But then, to achieve this, the deed of our ages, it is first of all necessary to accept that having decoded in the former century the language of life to map out the whole genome of our own species, and deconstructed matter to unleash its inner power, from the 21st century on, there can be no future for mankind unless we desire it and seek it for the entire species. Then, perhaps we could succeed in arriving there at the only possible future for the human genre, one where nuclear energy is not a problem, but a solution. There is no other possible future for mankind. Otherwise, the 21st century will be the last one for us. This is precisely where we stand in April 2026.